Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. And as we speak last time, we are going to create a backend and database development in this project and this video. So as we saw last time, we are talking about like task developing a task manager backend and database connectivity. So to begin with, we need to generate some boilerplate code from the Spring. Like this is the start.spring.io. This is a Spring website which help us to create a boilerplate code for the our application, where we'll select the project as Maven and language as Java, Spring Boot version 3.5.3, and project metadata will add the group com dot. I have added ask-a-bee. You can you can add anything what you feel, and then I have added a artifact as a task manager and name as a task manager, and this is the project description, and the project name will be auto-generated. And the packaging, I am using a jar, and the Java I'm using the 17. In the dependencies, we need to add the couple of dependencies. This will help us to build our project very fastly, as well as we required some dependencies which is for generating a RESTful APIs in the Spring, and as well as a few other APIs will help us for annotation and building. So let's add few like Spring Wave. uh, this will help us to generate RESTful APIs. Then we need to add Lombok. This will help us to like annotation based generation of code for like getter setter methods, and again no args argument, couple of some annotation like that. And post that, like dev tool, we will add, again we will add the JPA, which is help us to, like API like which help us like Spring Data and Hibernate. And lastly we'll add MySQL driver for like our MySQL database connectivity. So yeah, I think this is enough dependencies, and if we require anything else, we can add in our pom.xml file. Uh, Click on generate button, and in downloads you can see this like something like the task manager .zip. And if you open in this folder, it's and you extract it, it will be something like the task manager and task manager .zip, and you just need to open this. One extract, you can found some task manager like folder which will have this kind of files. This is pom.xml, which is responsible for the generating the dependencies and our project life cycle. And this is two folders like main and test. We can see it in our mm, IntelliJ IDEA or any ID. So just open this task manager in your IntelliJ IDEA, and once you open this in your IntelliJ IDEA, uh, we can explore more about this. So this is my IntelliJ IDEA, and this is the project structure with this like main, where we define our code, and this is resources where we keep our like application properties, as well as if we want to add a static templates and static data. And target, it will here it will generate and jar file for us. And like since we have selected a jar, it will generate a jar file us. And pom.xml, as we said, like this is our project life cycle. And hmm, here you can see the dependencies which we have added, all are below this or inside this. uh, and also this is like something which generate our project life cycle. Post that, I think we need to install all these dependencies locally. So if you have this Maven plugin, you can just check on clean and compile. So it will install all the dependencies locally, and this dependencies, once it's installed locally, we can use it in our project. So there is one more package like Task Manager. So Task Manager is the entry point for our application, and this is the application execution will start from this package, where the Spring application.run will run our application, and this is the annotation to show which is the Spring Boot application class. So as we discussed, we are going to uh, divide our application layer into the three packages, or like three layers. uh, which is like controller. Other one is service, and the third one is repository. Yeah. And we need one more package model where we'll define our database or like our table structure. So let's start with the adding our table structure. We'll add the task as our table name. So this is our task as a table name, and here we will add at the rate entity, which shows like this is our database table. If you can see this symbol, so entities annotation, which shows uh, it's our like we are defining the table, and this is our one of the entity or model of the our application. And we will add a couple of more annotation like I said, like getter, setter, like no arc arguments and all arc arguments, and like toString. And inside this task, we will add our all the columns which we read. Like we'll add private long. We have we'll adding ID, then private long string title, private string description. Then we will add private. We'll add a task status. I'll tell you why I'm adding this, and task status. So what we are going to do, we are creating the enum with this name, task status. This is because I want like, my status to be only like few defined values like uh, pending or like in progress and completed. So let's add. So I have added enumerated enums time as a string because I want this enum, it should be take it as a string, and so this is the task status. And last we will add private date, and this is our due date. Let's input date. Yeah. So we have imported a date, and so if you see like we are getting some errors on our this task definition, this is because it's asking us to add ID and generated value. So ID is to represent this is our primary key, and generated value is to like generated value is to like for each object or for each user, it should generate a value where it should have a different key for, or different private key for each user or like for each object. So this is how we have generated our or created our task table. And let's quickly go and create a repository. So for repository, we need to create an interface. So we'll add task repository, and we'll extends JPA repository. This will help us to extend JPA repositories functions and all. So let's inside that we need to add our primary table, like our table, and its primary key data type, which is like for ID we have put the data type as a long. So that's we have created the task repository, and then let's quickly go ahead and create a service. Task service, where we here we'll add all our business logics. So we need to add the annotation as service over here to know like JP to know Spring Boot this is a service. Similarly, we need to add a repository on top of our JP repository. Yeah, and we have create task. Let's go in controller and create our task controller. So in this task controller, we will adding all our APIs definition, where we'll add a REST controller, and after a REST controller, we will add a request mapping, where request mapping our API should start with a task, and then further execution we will add as it is required. So as we discussed in our last video, we will create a few of the functions like create task, delete task, update task, and get task by ID, get task by status, get task by due date, and get task by I like yeah, that is couple of API we discussed last time. So let's quickly go and create an API. So before API, we need to, since our call will be delegate to our service, so let's create a let's add a task service as our member. Like where is this task service as a task service, and we'll auto it. Let's create our first API public task create task, and here inside this put so yeah, this is the top one. Yep. And create task, and from this we'll get an request body from the user, and this should be of type task, and we will add a task variable as task. Here we need to go give it is like post mapping, and we will create a API as the create. So if we add a task slash create, and in the request body if we pass the task, this API will get called, and we will delegate this to our service. So task service dot create task. I know this is not present, but yeah, we will create this in short. In service, we will create a task repository, this function. So we have created a function in a task service, and this is responsible for returning from the we here we need to add a task repository as our task repository task task repository, and we will auto edit as well. So we'll add task repository dot save, and this is will be task. So this is the use of JP repositories. Like we don't need to write SQL queries explicitly. JPA will take care of that. Which JPA provide a few of the it's like inbuilt functions like save all, find by ID, exist by ID, and find all, count, delete by ID, and all this, and also the custom queries also, or custom functions also is provided. We will see it in like later, but yeah. This is the to create a task, we use a save and we are saving this task inside our database. So let's quickly go ahead and create a database before we test our API. So let me connect to my MySQL client. Let's create database with name task. So and use task. Yeah, show tables. If you see, there is no tables as of now, but we have created this. And inside the application dot properties, we need to add a couple of properties. So this task manager is will be there, and we need to add these properties like for database and as well as GP. Let me explain quickly this properties, what these properties are. So we need to mention like what is our driver class name. Since we have added the driver as MySQL, we will add this value. What is our data source URL? So where is our data source means MySQL. So our MySQL is running on 3306 locally, and this is our database which we created right now. And what is our username and password for to connect with our database? So this is my username and password. This is not good to keep your username and password in a repository, but yeah, for the project purpose and since it is a local project, we are keeping this in our like application dot properties. And for GPA, this is like we need to add like what is the data platform. So since we are using MySQL, we are using this org.hibernate and dilect MySQL. So this all we will find in the build files, uh, and we are adding Hibernate EDL like auto will be update and once we run our application, so do we want our query to be shown in as application logs? So we have marked it as true. So since we have implemented the our first API where the in controller, just to explain you the controller where we are starting our API with the task, and then we are extending it with the create, and if someone requests for like create a task, the the call will delegate it to the service task, and service task will delegate these calls to the task repository, and task repository is responsible for the saving this to the database which we have kept in our application repository application properties config, like all the configs there. So let's go quickly run our application. See, I have started running application, and if you see, JPA created a table for me, created table task BNT, and this is, if you see, this is the enum and all. And let's quickly check in our database also if we created any table or not. So if you can see, this is table has been created, and let's see any value is there in that table or not. So as of now, there is no value in our database. So this is our Thunder client from where we'll check our application connectivity. You can use a Postman as well. This is same UI. So you need to add like this is our post request. Since it's post mapping, this is like HTTP when where our application is listening, and this is our task and slash create to create a task. So I have added like what is the title, since ID is auto-generated field. I am adding the title as a task management description and the status as pending and due date as some random values I have added. So it should be like this, yeah. So let's hit, and I got a 200 response back from the backend, and um, it has created a value, or like it put the my value into the database. Let's quickly check in the database if we have anything that's created from our application. Yeah, so we got this a new value inside our table, and so we successfully created our first API and we have tested it. So since we are seeing it in our locally and in your database, let's go quickly create and uh, list all uh, tasks which we have present in our application. So let's go to the controller. um, let's write a get mapping where we will add like after the task we'll add like get, or just add all. And okay, I have this double quotes slash all task, and then public list of, since it's currently we have only single field, but in future we can have multiple tasks there, so that's why I'm adding the list of tasks. And I get all task where we will not get anything from a request, since it's like getting all the tasks. And then return, we will delegate it to the task service dot get all tasks. Tasks. So let's quickly generate this method and return task repository dot get get like or yeah, find all we need to use here for getting all the values which present into the database. So we are using find all, which is like one of the again functionality which is coming extending from JPA repository. So we are using the find all for this, and yeah, we implemented our second API as well. So controller, this is, let's go and quickly test it's working or not. Let's copy this request. Yeah, let's create a new request, copy this and command this, remove this and test all task. Just mark, just change it from capital to small t, all tasks, and gate mapping and hit the query. Yeah, we got the response from our database. Now we can see our whatever task present in our database also. Let's create a one more request. Mm, Shopping portal, shopping portal, and let's add is in progress, and let's say 25, 8, and create one task. Yeah, and generate. Let's get all the tasks. Yeah, we're able to see all the tasks present in our database. So we have created the list all the tasks present in our database as well as we have created. And let's go get, create, and update and delete also. So let's quickly go public task, since the update task will happen only on single task at a one time. So let's do it and single task update task. This is the put mapping we need to add, where we will add update and slash, we need to also add the path variable as id. So yeah, the two field will be, one will be the path variable we are sending, it will be the long id, and the other one will be at the rate request body of our task, and this will be a task. So why we are passing the path variable? Because we want to know like for which user or for which task we need to update this task, right? So id will be important as a primary key, and the what is the updated task body which we need to update our like our current task. So let's delegate this again to service layer, task service dot date task, and we'll pass ID as well as task. Let's generate a task. And then here what we'll do, so first we will take the existing task into our uh, a variable task repository dot find by ID, and we'll add ID, and also dot or else throw new runtime exception. Let's say task with not found with ID plus ID, semicolon. Yeah, and then current task dot set state title is equal to task dot get new title, and then similarly current status current task dot what we can update the description also. Let's get from this new task get the description, and in current task we can update the status also, so get status, and from new task get the status and update it to this should be set status, set the status. It's not extra. Yeah. So set the status. So what we did currently, so we got the what is the current task is present in our database, and we have set the value for it from this a new value which is coming from our request. So we have updated this value, and this is just a local variable. So what we will do, we will update in our repository. So repository, and we'll return it also. Return repository dot save, and we will save this current task. So what it will do, it will see like this task is already present, and just it will update the details of the task. So we have added the update task also. Copy the request data from this. This is the put mapping task. Let's remove the task. This is update, and for ID1, this is our ID1, and let's take this body and go to the body. Let's remove this. Let's keep the title description as same, and due date, let's remove it, no use. Let's mark it as completed, and we'll send the data. Yep, and it works. Our database got updated with this task management and status as completed. Let's see it in the get all task. It's got updated here also. Yeah, it got updated here also. So yeah, update is working for us. Let's go quickly create and delete also for us. Mm, let's go and create a delete API. Enter it, delete mapping, and here what we can say, let's say delete, okay, slash delete, and we'll pass id also here for which task we need to delete. So this is the id, and then public, uh, and delete, do we need to write anything? Let's keep it as void, so we don't want to return anything for delete. Let's say delete task, and here we'll pass a path variable as id, which is long, and let's delegate, not return, let's delegate it to the task service dot delete task. Pass this id. Yeah, let's create a method with this, and we'll say task repository dot delete by id, and we'll pass the id, and task repository will take care of deleting the object. So we have created this API also. Let's go and quickly try this, create a new request. Copy from here. This is a delete request. Delete. Let's delete a task one since it's already completed. So we'll delete the task one and send it. We got a response 200. Okay, means the task got deleted. Let's quickly verify by running all tasks. Yeah, so we are not able to see the task one here, so it means like it got deleted successfully. So we have completed most of our APIs which we required for our application or front end. We need to create few more APIs, which is like get by ID, get task by ID, get task by status, and get task by due date. Let's go and quickly create this. Let's go to controller, public task, get task by ID. Okay. Here it will be get mapping because we are getting the request, and slash add task, and directly add, like let's say for this we will just add slash task and slash id, so it will come to this here, and this will be a path variable long id passing here, and then again let's delegate it to the service task service dot get is id, and pass the id, and let's create this method return task repository dot get task by id. If you see, this is JPA is creating this function or method at the runtime. So this is the use of JPA. And let's say id this. So this is our one API. So you guys just do the testing for this, and let me create a couple of other remaining. This is get slash status, and this will be not id, this will be status. Get my path variable will be task status, task or task status, and let's say it as status, and we'll pass this as a status, and this is task by status. Let's quickly create this return task repository. This should be list, because one status can have many tasks. So this should be again list repository dot get tasks by status, and we are providing this status option. So yep, this is done, and get task by due date is remaining. Let's go to controller. Let's add by due date, and let's get task by due date. Okay, no need to pass anything. This is again fine. Create a method, this, and return repository dot due date. Yeah, this is I'm looking for. And we can have, I think, ascending or descending. Yeah, ascending also. And this, let's add this again, list of task. Let's add this in controller also. This is list of task repository task service, and let's add this to repository list task. Yeah, our application is running. What is happening here? Application failed task controller. Yeah, I think because of we copy pasted it got failed because of that. Let's quickly rerun it. Yeah, application started is running. There is nothing failing here. These three, I think you guys should check. Just do the testing, and if you face any issue, just comment it on video, and hope you like the video. And in next video we will see how can we connect our front end with this our backend service. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, just hit the like and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.